Good evening, and welcome to the College of Charleston Virtual Open House. I'm Devin Thompson, Senior Associate Director for Admissions Events, and I will be moderating this evening's event off camera. Our team knows that there are a lot of factors to weigh during your college search and application process. It's our hope that tonight's event will answer all of your questions, particularly those pertaining to support services and campus resources available to students at the College of Charleston. Tonight's virtual open house is the fourth in our series. If you've missed the previous three or would like to review presentations from those events, you can find them on the College of Charleston YouTube page or on the Virtual Visitor Center page on the admissions website. During tonight's event, you will hear presentations from a variety of support services offices at the College of Charleston. You'll also be provided with an admissions overview by one of our admissions counselors, and of course, get the full student perspective from a panel of our current students. Some of our student panel questions were pre-submitted, but if you have a question that has not been covered, feel free to submit it in the chat function. I see some of you are already using it tonight, so we're glad to see you there. We also have several admissions counselors who will be monitoring the chat, so feel free to submit any question as we go along throughout the event tonight. But if you think of something after our time this evening concludes, you can always email admissionsevents@cfc.edu and we'll answer your question as soon as possible. With that, I will now introduce our support services and campus resources presenters. Kicking off our presentations this evening will be Rochelle Johnson, Director of the Multicultural Student Programs and Services Offices. Rochelle? Rochelle, I think you might still be muted.
Can you hear me now? I'm so sorry. As Devin said, I'm Rochelle Johnson, Director of Multicultural Student Programs and Services. We are also a member of the Division of Student Affairs. MSPS focuses on supporting the diversity of all students, and we have a strong commitment to the inclusion of students and their self-expression. Some of the services that we provide for students are we plan locally based programs that brings awareness and empowers students to be agents of social change. And our programs recognize Hispanic, Latinx, Indigenous, Native Americans, Asian Pacific, African American, LGBTQ, and Women History months. We invite students and families to celebrate accomplishments through multicultural graduation celebrations at the end of the semester, just before commencement, by hosting events, 4 different celebrations for our Hispanic, Latinx, Asian Pacific Islander, our Lavender or LGBTQ students, and our Near Rite of Passage students, which is for our African American event for our African American students. One of our signature programs is our Spectra program. It is a high school to college transition program for Alana students. And Spectra is a 4-week program during the summer where students can earn 2 free 3-credit classes. They would live in the res halls and eat in the dining halls, and it would give them an opportunity to learn the campus so that when they begin classes in the fall, it would help them acclimating to campus smoothly. And then what we also offer for our Spectra students is a Mentoring Matters initiative where we pair students with a faculty, staff, or upperclassmen on campus who would provide support to that student through their first year. We also house the Safe Zone Committee in our office, which provides training for our entire campus where participants can learn more about the LGBTQ community, learn how to become an ally, be supportive, and how to be respectful through communication. Next slide, please. MSPS also sponsors the annual Excel Awards program, which recognizes the contribution of faculty, staff, and students and members of the local community for promoting excellence and diversity at C of C. Our office is located in the Multicultural Center, which is a 4-story yellow historic house located next to the Addlestone Library. And other services that we provide, or perks we would like to say we provide for students, is a space for them to study. We also provide space for clubs or organizations use. We have a prayer and meditation space for students. We provide free printing, computer lab stations, and we also provide a free beverage station for students, coffee, tea, etc. We're not fancy, we're not Starbucks, but it's free coffee for students. So we like to welcome all students and hope that when you're on campus that you take the opportunity to come by to see what MSPS and the Multicultural Center has to offer.
Thank you, Rochelle. We're so thankful to have MSPS on campus, and the updates you've recently done to your building are phenomenal. So I'm now going to introduce Jim Allison. Jim is the director of the Career Center at the College of Charleston. Jim?
Hi, hello. Yes, my name is Jim Allison, Executive Director of the Career Center, and I've been at the college for 4 years, and I love the College of Charleston, and I love working here. I think that's an important thing to consider staff from the college. First of all, my first slide is really meeting the team. As you can see, we have myself and the career education team and our student employment team. Just so you know, we do manage campus jobs for the college, and we have at any given time about 1,200 students working on campus. Our third team is also our employer relations team, and our employer relations team is very important because they help us to manage Handshake, which is our job board we use for all part-time jobs, internships, and full-time jobs. Next slide, please. We have a career success plan here. It's really a 4-year planning process, although that can extend for some students actually before they start college. That summer before college, sometimes we'll initiate some communication with students who've been accepted and who will be circulating to the college, and certainly are available to our alumni as well. But in general, we think of it as a 4-year career planning process. We do values, interests, and skills for our students. That does include the Myers-Briggs, Strengths Quest, the Strong Interest Inventory, as well as Focus 2. We help students explore myriad jobs and career paths. We assist our students in a one-on-one situation. Right now, it's primarily via Zoom, exclusively via Zoom, to make good career decisions and to set for life after college, whether that's going to be full-time employment or graduate school. And we also assist our students here to gain work experience, and that is primarily seen through internships. We also assist our students in building a network. We understand that some of our entering college students do not actually have a strong network when they enter college, and that's something that's very important to us, is to reach all of our students and to make sure our services are accessible for every student in every major. And last, we help our students conduct a job search or plan for graduate school. When I say we help them conduct one, we help our students find jobs. We help our students be admitted to graduate school. And our data is showing that we're doing quite well in these areas. Next slide, please. I mentioned earlier gain experience. This is really a truncated or a short list. It looks like a long list. I will not go through every single one of these. Some of these actually show the collaboration between the Career Center and other areas on campus. We manage some of these areas, several of these areas, in particular an area like study abroad, which I'm including experiential learning area that does not fall under the Career Center. We work very closely with other areas, their faculty and staff on campus, to make sure our students have an opportunity to gain experience outside the classroom. lead with internships. As you can see, there's undergraduate research, co-op, leadership, and so on. The main message for me is that every single College of Charleston be encouraged to take part in some sort of experiential opportunity outside of the classroom. The last bullet point down there called Launchpad, that's something that, again, is a collaboration with other areas, Office of Institute University, MSPS, whom you just heard from, Michelle Johnson. These are our offices on campus that we have partnered with to launch Launchpad, if you will, which is really a program to help support our first generation college students and underrepresented minority students, as well as any other student who need assistance as they enter college, certainly go through college, and finding internships and jobs and developing those professional development skills. The last area I'll highlight on this slide, because this is a very important slide for our office, sometimes the slide is everything, because these experiences are the experiences that lead to building a resume. These experiences are the experiences that lead to building a network. These are the experiences that lead to students sometimes receiving a job offer from the last one I'll mention here is volunteer opportunities. Currently, the Center for Civic Engagement is not very closely with, and that office is doing tremendous work to help our students find opportunities in the community for service and volunteering. So I think it's an important area to highlight. Next slide, please. Just to give you an idea of our virtual career center and how that works here at the college currently, certainly that is something that in the future we will continue, regardless of when we go back to in-person or seeing students face-to-face full-time. We'll definitely continue our virtual career center. And as you can see, we offer everything that we offered pre-COVID. We now offer online to our students through the virtual center. Resume and cover letter assistance. That second bullet point around internships and jobs is important, because currently we use that platform Handshake that I mentioned, and that's 9,000 active recruiters that are seeking to hire College of Charleston students. We post 1,200 jobs per month, 150 internships per month. We had 100 companies participate this fall in virtual career fairs. We have approximately 550 of our students log into Handshake every week to use Handshake. So what that means is we are providing opportunities to our students and working directly with recruiters who want to hire our students. We're not pulling jobs and internships off of Indeed or Simply Hired and just pasting them or copying them over Handshake. This is active work with recruiters that would like to hire our students. It's a tremendous volume, and I think it's something that our students are really taking advantage of and gaining some real experience through Handshake. As you can see, choosing a major is something we work closely with academic advising and planning to partner with them. That's something that's very important for their area, of course. Self-assessments, which I mentioned, student employment, which I mentioned, workshops, employer engagement, graduate school prep, and networking. That's a snapshot. Again, a short list of the things we do here in the Career Center. I've listed my contact information here. At the very bottom right, you can see drop-in hours and our evening hours. I'm also proud of that because we're going to be launching chat soon, and that chat function allows us to extend our hours even more to the evening to help students after classes and when they're really ready, and perhaps in the moment to assist our students as well beyond the traditional 8 to 5 window. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Jim. I'd now like to introduce Abram Sanders from the Center for Student Learning. Abram?
Thank you, Devin. Good evening, everyone, and thank you for spending part of your afternoon or evening with us today. My name is Abe Saunders. I'm the Associate Director for the Center for Student Learning, and I'm just going to speak to you a little bit about what the Center for Student Learning is, where we're located, who uses the Center for Student Learning, and then, of course, what services we offer to you. So the Center for Student Learning is the one-stop shop for academic support for your classes. So specifically, the three things there I'm talking about are tutoring services, supplemental instruction, and study skills support. Can we advance to slide 2, please? Thank you. Where we're located, we are located in Addlestone Library, which is right beside the historic yellow building that Rochelle mentioned a few minutes ago. So right in the heart of campus is where we're located there. And what we encourage students to do is come early and come often to use our services. Students who use the CSL, tutoring services and supplemental instruction frequently are more likely to do better in their classes. One specific concrete example would be for supplemental instruction, which I'll share with you a little more about in a second. Students who use SI 9 or more times in a semester on average earn a half a letter grade to a letter grade higher in their class than students who do not. So it's a very effective service that we found for students. The question one of the questions I said I'd cover is who uses the CSL. The short answer is everyone, all students regardless of academic standing, first year students, second year students, juniors, seniors, regardless of where you are, we have services that support you. That being said, for first year students, a large percentage of our students that use the Center for Student Learning for tutoring and supplemental instruction and study skills appointments, those are first year students. So we provide a lot of classes that we provide that support for. We're the largest student employer on campus. Depending on the semester, we have between 150 to 170 student employees. And I'll tell you that now just to explain and share that we have that many student employees because we have a wide range of subjects that we can offer tutoring support for. And that brings us to this table that you're looking at here with drop-in tutoring, by appointment tutoring, and supplemental instruction. So this is the academic support for your courses that I mentioned. So for drop-in tutoring, that means students are not required to make an appointment. We'll have tutors available during our open hours, and all students have to do is drop in for support during those times for the classes that we have our tutors available for. It doesn't cost anything out of pocket to use our tutoring services or our supplemental instruction. Some of the labs, we have drop-in tutoring for math, for writing. The writing lab can offer support for all phases of a paper or an essay that you have that's coming up due. We have foreign language tutoring, drop-in format for Spanish specifically. We have a business lab. Those of you who are looking at the School of Business, every School of Business major takes the same core courses: econ, accounting, business statistics. We have tutoring for all those classes. We have science tutoring, natural science tutoring for astronomy, biology, chemistry, physics, and geology, computer science tutoring, and then social science research and statistics lab. For by appointment tutoring, that means you would make an appointment with a tutor, and it would be a one-on-one session for those tutoring. And here's a range of subjects. So many of the foreign languages that are offered on campus that students take, we have tutors for that. Psychology, we have a speaking lab to help with planning for a presentation that you may have to give on campus. And then that third column that we're looking at, supplemental instruction. Supplemental instruction is a program that's offered. It's a national program. It's offered for classes that are considered historically challenging. So courses like anatomy and physiology, biology 111, biology 112, your introductory chemistry sequence, business statistics, 2 psychology courses, sensation and perception and behavioral neuroscience, symbolic logic. Those classes on our campus are classes that students oftentimes feel like they need additional support. It doesn't mean that you're not going to do well in those courses. It just means that if you are enrolled in those, just know that that's a course that that will keep you on your toes a bit, most likely. And supplemental instruction is a program where a student who has already taken that class almost every time with that same professor sits in the class with you. And then they offer 3 structured study sessions each week based on the course lesson plans for that week. So it's a structured study environment outside the classroom. We highly encourage you to attend that. And then the last thing that we offer that I'll mention today is study skills appointments. Those are with study skills specialists in our office, and myself, our director Lindy, and our assistant director Kate. I'll provide that support for students who need help with anything from how to manage your time effectively, how to manage distance education courses if that's something that a student may have to take for a semester, how to effectively prepare for tests, how to manage test anxiety. Those are just examples of things that we support students with on a daily basis. So, and the last thing I'll say is those of you who, when you're at the College of Charleston, when you've been here for a semester or 2, and you're looking for a part-time job, Jim was just talking about the Career Center and the work that they do to hire student employees. We work well with the Career Center because we have so many student employees. One of our mission one of the big parts of our mission in the center is to provide peer leadership opportunities for students who do tutoring and supplemental instruction to help prepare you when you leave the College of Charleston for graduate school or your first job, that you've got this experience with transferable skills of working with people. And that's something we pride ourselves in when we train our tutors and provide them those paraprofessional experiences in the Center for Student Learning. So, and that's all I have today. Again, thank you everyone for being here.
Thanks, Abe. I know I may have graduated many moons ago, but I certainly benefited from the Center for Student Learning. All right, up next, I'm going to introduce Rachel McNamara from the Counseling Center. Rachel?
Yes, thank you. It's nice to be here this evening and being able to talk about the Counseling Center. I will add, it may have been a while back for me too, but I'm a College of Charleston alum and I did enjoy using the CSL then as well. So definitely a great program at College of Charleston. I'm here, though, to talk about the Counseling Center at College of Charleston and some of the other programs that we have around mental health. And there we go. And so the Counseling Center at College of Charleston has licensed professional counselors, and we provide services free on campus that can qualify for a short-term solution-focused therapy. We also have an online self-paced independent program called Therapy Assistance Online that students can access on the website. We are located in kind of the heart of campus, although College of Charleston being a city is somewhat of a enclosed campus, but we're on the 3rd floor of the Robert Scott Small building, which used to be known as the library. Students use our, I'm sorry, let me go back to the counseling a little bit more. So students use our services because we do not, need to bill for insurance. We can help students with common problems like relationship issues, roommate challenges, stress, all the way to disorders like depression and anxiety. And those are some of the most common challenges that students come into the Counseling Center with. At College of Charleston, we also have a student organization. We can go to the next slide. There we go. And so this is an organization with highly trained and certified student volunteers that provide assistance to students who are struggling with stress, anxiety, sadness, and just need someone to talk that through. And so in times of, say, a pandemic, we are available in that service through texting, and then in most other times at college, we are available for walk-in appointments. Now, these services are different. The Counseling Center has licensed professionals, and the students for support are trained to just be that listening ear and to help people understand what they're going through and potentially look through what they would like to do to help with their problems. In addition to the students for support, my role at the campus is a mental health educator. And so I also have interns in psychology and public health that help promote messages on learning skills to handle stress in college, help others recognize when other people may be in need of resources, and promote different events to help with mental health and emotional well-being and destigmatize mental health. All right, thank you. So here is our slide where how you can contact us, and so the counseling information, the students for support information, and our College of Charleston mental health education website. And thank you very much for being here tonight.
Thanks, Rachel. I'd now like to introduce Erica Harrison-Jones from the Office of Financial Assistance and Veterans Affairs. Erica?
Thank you, Devin, and good evening, everyone. Again, my name is Erica Harrison-Jones. I'm the Associate Director for Scholarships in our Financial Aid Office here at the college. I am also an alum, so this is always a good time for me when I'm able to speak to families and talk to students about what the college has to offer. So our office, the primary role of the Financial Aid Office at the College of Charleston is to determine eligibility for federal, state, and institutional aid. We award all forms of aid, including but not limited to scholarships, grants, loans, and federal work study. Here at the college, every student that applies as an entering freshman is automatically considered for institutional merit scholarships, which are renewable for up to 4 years. Grants and federal work study are usually based on financial need. So we use the free application for federal student aid, or FAFSA, to help us award students according to the policies and regulations for each one of those forms of aid. For students who would be entering freshmen in the fall 21 class, that FAFSA opened on October 1st. So if you have not already started that process, I would encourage you to do so. You would have to have your 2019 federal tax information when you go to complete that application. Here at the college, we have what's called a priority deadline. So that priority deadline is March 1st. So we encourage families and students to complete that application prior to that date so that we can ensure that you are receiving the priority consideration for some of those forms of aid in which we have limited funding. Now we know that because the FAFSA is based on 2019 federal tax information, that some families may have experienced a change in circumstance. So we want to make sure that you understand that you have the option to request what's called a professional judgment. And that means after you filed your FAFSA, you would want to reach out to our office if you have a change in circumstance so that we could go in and reevaluate your financial aid eligibility based on your current financial situation. Our office disperses financial aid towards the student's e-bill no more than 10 days prior to the start of classes if they've completed all of their missing requirements. Our office primarily communicates with students via their CFC email address once they have one. If you don't have a CFC email address, we always communicate with whatever you have listed on your application as your personal email. So we strongly encourage students to check their emails frequently because that's how you will see the communications from our office. We also have a Veterans Affairs coordinator in our office that works with veterans and their dependents to help navigate the process of veterans benefits. His name is Scott Woolham, and his contact information is available on our website. Our office hours are Monday through Friday, 8:30 a.m. to 5 o'clock p.m. And our email address, financialaid, all one word, @cofc.edu. We know that financial aid can be daunting sometimes, but rest assured we stand ready to assist you with any financial aid related questions that you may have.
Yes, y'all do, Erica. Y'all are a great team over there. All right, our next presenter is Olivia Vernon, and she will be speaking on student engagement and residence life. Olivia?
Thanks, Devin. It's great to be here tonight. So a little bit about our department. We are a member of the Division of Student Affairs. My role within the department is I am the Assistant Director for Student Programming and Engagement. So one of my primary functions is to help our students find their home on campus. And that happens through a lot of different facets. Because our overall mission is to create engaging, supportive, and inclusive communities. And a lot of the campus partners that you're hearing speak tonight, we like to work very closely with to make sure that our students are getting connected to their interests and what their greatest needs are to make the most of their time here. Learning doesn't just happen in the classrooms, it happens every second that you're enrolled as a student and on campus, even when you're off campus. And so it really is a holistic experience. And living on campus in the residence halls is one of the best ways to really immerse yourself in that process. So a little bit about our structure. Right now we have 9 full-time staff members, 3 graduate students, and roughly 100 undergraduate students employed in various capacities. Our office does hire and support our resident assistants on campus throughout the year, and they are one of our greatest assets and one of the the strongest resources on campus, especially for incoming students. They're one of the first faces you see when you walk into your residence hall, and they're going to be one of your best resources throughout your entire time living on campus, and even after you're no longer living in the halls in most cases. The vast majority of our staff members do actually live on campus, and that helps us provide that support 24/7, 365. That is actually one of our primary support services, is being here all the time. So we do have an on-call system that has many layers, and so there's literally always someone to call if you need help from Residence Life, or if you're not sure who to get a hold of or what resource you do need at the moment. Residence Life is a great first step. We're here. We're always ready to help and guide you to either your answer or how to find your answer. One of the other primary functions that we have is community development. We do a lot of in-call engagement opportunities, in addition to providing kind of that springboard to our other amazing campus services and partners, and involvement opportunities outside of the residence halls. Some of our primary campus partners are actually in the campus services division. So campus housing, we work very closely with. That is the office that does housing assignments and applications, anything to do with contracts or billing. We partner with campus housing on that. Dining, Cougar Card Services, which is our campus ID, parking, mail services, the bookstore, that is all run through campus services. Something very exciting that they launched this year is actually their campus services HQ. So they have a one-stop shop for anything to do with that area. So I highly recommend checking out the campus services website when you have a moment. Can I get the next slide, please? Thank you. So just a little bit more detail about some of our in-hall engagement opportunities. It really is a very personalized approach, and that's something that we have been shifting in response to what our residents have told us that they want. And so we really kick off the year with reaching out even before you move in. So you'll hear from your hall directors, from your resident assistants, even before you arrive to campus, welcoming you, getting you some crucial information, starting those conversations, starting to build that relationship. One of the first ways that they're going to do that is through something called a dossier, and that's where we get your information on what your interests are, anything from what your major is, or if you don't have a major yet, to what kind of TV shows you like, or what are some ways that you're interested in connecting with other people on campus or in the halls. Are there any groups that you've been involved with, maybe in your high school, that you're looking for like the college equivalent of? Your RAs are going to take that information and use it to guide what you do moving forward. You see on the list here, personal engagements. That is going to be something that's extremely customized to each resident. No two residents are the same, so no two personal engagements are the same. It's just a way for us to kind of help take those interests that you have or those needs and connect you with the best and most appropriate resources at the time to really help build the experience of living on campus into what you want it to be. Cougar chats are something that are also very exciting for us. We like to be in very frequent contact with our residents. So Cougar chats are something that actually happen every couple weeks. It's a casual check-in, seeing how things are going, seeing what's going on in your life. Is there anything that you need help with or have questions about? Making sure that you're up to date on any upcoming deadlines, whether it's something for us or maybe course registration deadlines or something exciting new coming from the CSL in terms of some of the services they offer. Is just a couple examples of the kind of information that we want to make sure that our residents are aware of. All with that primary focus on building relationships, having that one-on-one connection, and making the most of your personal experience on campus.
Thank you, Olivia. All right, I'd now like to introduce Ron Smith from the Academic Advising and Planning Center on campus. Ron? Oh, Ron, it looks like your volume might be kind of low.
Sorry, can you hear me now? There you go. Sorry about that. So yeah, Ron Smith, I'm the Assistant Director for Outreach and Programming, and I've been an advisor for over 10 years now at the college. Just to tell you a little bit about our office, we have 16 professional academic advisors, and it's one of the bigger offices in the state for academic advisors. But just to let you know, a majority of our students are the freshmen and sophomore at the college and the incoming transfer students. So our caseload is roughly 3,000 to 5,000 students. So it keeps us very busy. And because of that, we've actually brought in 4 peer advisors, student advisors we've hired that help us with quick question drop-in and advising students who have quick questions whenever needed. Just so you know, when you come into the College of Charleston, you will be required to have a mandatory advising meeting in your fall semester before you schedule your spring classes, and then in the spring semester before you schedule your fall classes. Now, going forward from there, if you're declared, you will no longer be mandated to meet with us. You'll be meeting with a major advisor. And I'm going to talk a little more about that, what that 1-hour conversation is going to be like. And you're lucky that at the College of Charleston, you do get to have an extended conversation with your advisor. We do have quick question drop-in every day from 2 to 4 p.m. where you can come in if you ever have a quick question. Also, our advisors are available through email. We have a web-based online appointment management system, so whenever you need to make an appointment with us, you can literally just go onto your My Charleston, make that appointment to come and meet with us. And actually, we have some of the best advisors in the country winning awards regionally and nationally. If we go to the next slide, please, I'm going to go over a little bit about graduation requirements. So to graduate from the College of Charleston, you have to complete 122 credit hours, and that may be sort of a daunting number. But if you think about it, 122 hours over 4 years, that's 30 hours per year, 15 per semester. And our classes, a majority of our classes are 3 credit hours. So really, we're talking about 40 classes over 4 years, 10 a year, 5 a semester. And when you meet with us, we're really only going to be talking about a semester at a time. Some of the things you're going to be completing, you have to do what's called a first year experience within your first year. You're going to be completing your gen ed and your major classes at the same time. We're not a college where you complete one first and then do the other. They're kind of mingled in together. And our majors can vary. They can be anywhere from 30 hours to 82 hours. So depending on the size of your major, your electives can vary. And electives are just those extra hours between your gen eds and your major classes to get you to 122. So you can be that person in the suit or the white dress crossing over the cistern to graduate. I want to take a minute to talk about that 1-hour conversation you're going to have with your advisor, because one of the things we're going to talk about is we really want to get to know you as a person. We want to talk to you about your strengths and your interests. We want to talk to you about your challenges. There's the challenges, of course, of living in a dorm, but we want to talk to you about the challenges that you have in your own personal life. We want to talk to you about your goals. We want to talk about short-term goals. We want to talk about long-term goals. And we're going to develop an action plan going forward based on that. Because one of the things we're going to start working on immediately is your resume and your job skills. If you look at a resume, the shortest line on it is your education. So how are we going to start working on the rest of that? And your advisor, we're going to sit there and start talking to you about how we can get you so that when you are graduating, you're going to graduate with a lot of people who have the same degree, but how are you different from every other person? And we want to focus on that and really work to make sure that you're the best version of yourself when you walk out of here. Now, you may ask, what if I'm undecided? Well, you have until the spring of your sophomore year, so 4 semesters before you have to declare. And what we're going to do is going to work with you with taking introductory classes. We're going to be referring you to departments. We may refer you over to the Career Center, where Jim Allison was talking earlier. They've got a Choose a Major workshop. And so we're going to take our time to figure out what's going to be the best major for you and the best path for you to get to where you want to with your goals. And when I was talking about referring you to the Career Center, that's one of our biggest jobs, is referring you to different locations, whether it's the SNAP office or the CSL or the Career Center or the Office of Diversity. You know, our job is to figure out what your needs are and tell you the right person on campus to help you with that. Some other things I want to make sure I cover. With your high school transcript, you always got to make sure you get that sent in once you've graduated. If you're taking dual enrollment classes, you're going to have to contact the college that is providing that dual enrollment, it doesn't come from your high school. So make sure you have that transcript sent from that college. Also, if you've taken any AP courses, you're going to want to make sure that you get contact College Board and have those AP scores sent to the College of Charleston. So those are some things you're going to want to do in the spring or summer once they're completed, and make sure they're sent to the college so we have that information. And the last thing I want to bring up is, and I think a lot of the offices can agree with this, is that because of FERPA, which is a federal law, we cannot talk about your academics with your parents. So if you want them to be involved in your education, make sure that you fill out that form saying that we can talk about it, because you're an adult now and we're going to treat you that way. That's all I have for today, and hope to see you next fall.
Thanks, Ron. All right, our final presenter, last but certainly not least, is Deb Mehoff, the Director of the Center for Disability Services. Deb.
Hi, welcome everyone. As Devin said, I'm the Director of the Center for Disability Services, which is also known as the SNAP program. SNAP stands for Students Needing Access Parity, and our office has been at the College of Charleston in some form since the mid-'80s. So we have been providing intrusive support services to students with all manner of disabilities since before most post-secondary institutions were required to do so with the Americans with Disabilities Act, because it's the right thing to do. We work to ensure equal access to all programs and services at the College of Charleston for students with all sorts of disabilities. We currently serve approximately 9.5% of the college population. The college has a national reputation for support services for students with disabilities. We have a learning disability friendly status and are also one of the top colleges in the country for supporting students with visual impairments. And I think we're on another couple of lists as well. And there are a variety of reasons for that that don't necessarily have anything to do with our office, though we are a part of that. Pretty reliable support services through our department. Admissions has a commitment to diversity. So it should never be a grand concern of a student when they're applying to the College of Charleston that should they disclose that they have a disability, that would be a barrier to them in any way. Our faculty and staff, many of them are trained in universal design of learning principles, and also certainly the civil rights requirements that they're expected to uphold for students who qualify for accommodations. So if you're currently receiving reasonable accommodations in high school, you will be starting that process of qualification fresh. When you go to college, whether it's our college or any other institution, you'll be kind of starting from scratch a little bit. I would recommend that if this is something that you're interested in, to please visit our website. It's a pretty simple website name, disabilityservices.cofc.edu. And our application process and documentation requirements are articulated there. Documentation that's needed is really customized to what type of disability you have. So what we require for a person with a psychological condition is different from what we will require for the student with hearing impairment. We're also looking for documentation to be relatively current so that we know how that individual is impacted by what's going on with them currently and not when they were in second grade. So we're looking for something that's been completed within the past 5 years at the most. There is no requirement for a student to have had an IEP or a 504, and this will make sense for those of you who are familiar with those terms. You don't have to have had one in order to apply for services at the college. I wanted to speak to a question that was an awesome question that was in the Q&A earlier from Caitlin, who was asking about what sort of services may be available for students with hearing impairments. And I'm going to answer this in a little bit of the same way as I would answer it for pretty much any student with any disability, asking, you know, what can you do for us, basically. And what we try to say to folks is that we really customize it per the individual. So person applies for services, we see what their disability is and what they're impacted, you know, the way in which that person is impacted. Then we have a conversation with the student to find out what accommodations have worked for them in the past and what they're looking for from the college. And so what I would say to the student with a hearing impairment, you know, asking what accommodations may be available to me, I would say, tell us what you need. So just some examples that come to mind. And again, one person with a hearing impairment is this one person. But things that come to mind might be, you know, closed captioning for all, you know, AV type of presentations in the classroom or on Zoom, for example, peer note takers. Some students use FM amplifier systems that can be loaned under certain circumstances. Of course, with COVID, we got to be careful with sanitation, seating up front. So transcripts of video content that wasn't necessarily closed captioned, but you know, it really does take a one-on-one dialogue in order to get at finding out what worked for the student in the past. And usually it's with that communication that we can then go, oh yeah, now I remember this, that we can suggest to you. Some other things that I would suggest around, you know, students with hearing impairments is, you know, there's considerations in the residential environment as well with fire safety. So we would want to make sure that the student had what they needed, maybe a visual fire alarm in their particular residence hall in their room. And another thing that we will do is facilitate outreach to students, faculty members at the beginning of the semester to say, hey, let me give you some tips for teaching students with hearing impairments, just some things to keep in mind about how to best facilitate an equal opportunity learning experience for this student. So general things that we do, we are available as a resource for any student who is connected with our office and even those who are not connected with our office. We spend a lot of time working on self-advocacy with students. You know, there's a lot of room for folks to improve on how they can improve their communication with faculty members and other college personnel, and we try to support students to that end. We also maintain close relationships with a lot of the support offices that you've already heard from, which can help if folks have questions or concerns. Sometimes that bridge can really help to problem solve whatever it was that the student was concerned about. We also can provide proctoring services for students who receive testing related accommodations like a reader for tests or extended time tests. We have an alternative testing site where a student may be proctored if their faculty member isn't in a position to do so. We can also suggest appropriate assistive technology. We have a couple of campus-wide licenses for some very helpful assistive technology products that, you know, for example, speech to text or text to speech. And we can also link students to on and off campus supports that could be helpful based on what the students' needs are. So if you're unsure whether or not you would qualify, please check out our website, and our contact information is on there if you have additional questions after you check it out. And if you have more questions, stick them in the Q&A.
Thank you, Deb. And again, thank you so much to all of our presenters. Each of these offices are so student focused and provide immeasurable support to our students. So this overview was fantastic. We're now going to be joined by Aisha Steele, an admissions counselor within our office. Aisha is going to be covering and providing an overview of admissions criteria, deadlines, and more. So Aisha, I'm going to hand it off to you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Aisha Steele. I am an admissions counselor here in the Office of Admissions. My territory includes the Midwest region, including Kentucky and Tennessee, and homeschool applicants. We're going to start things off by talking a little bit about the application process and the admissions process. Our first application deadline is early decision. That deadline is October 15th. The deadline is binding. So for those students who know that CFC is their top choice, that option is for you. Early decision applicants can expect to hear back about their admissions decision by December 1st. Our upcoming deadline is early action, which is December 1st. This deadline is great for students who want to get their decision back a little bit sooner and are academically sound to start of their senior year. The notification date for early action students is February 1st, so you can expect to get your decision back by then. Our last admissions deadline is regular notification, and that date is February 15th, and the notification deadline being no later than April 1st. In addition, all students will be considered for merit-based scholarship upon applying as long as they apply by February 15th. There is no separate application that you have to fill out. And lastly, if you are interested in honors, the deadlines are as follows. The priority date for early review is December 1st. It is also the deadline if you would like to be considered for the Honor Scholars Program, and the final application deadline is February 15th. Next slide, please. There are two ways that you can apply to the College of Charleston. One is through the Common App, and the other is through our application on our website. Either one is perfectly fine for you to submit, so please choose whichever application is most convenient for you. In addition, please make sure that you submit in your high school transcript. You can self-report this document yourself by uploading it onto the application or having your counselor send in the document to us. There's also 2 essays that you can submit. Both of them are optional. The first one is on a topic that is included on the Common App, and the other one is a personal statement. The personal statement is a really great way for you to tell us about yourself and things that you would like for us to know that we cannot get directly from your application. And again, both of those are optional. Next slide, please. The College of Charleston is test optional. So applicants, if you were not able to test this year for some reason, or you do not feel your scores accurately reflect your academic capabilities, you have the option to apply without them. For those of you who would like to have your scores included in your admissions decision, just be informed that we do super score. Also, homeschool students are still required to submit in at least one standardized test score. If you would like to request a waiver for any reason, please just reach out to the admissions office on our admissions email at CFC. Students that are applying tests included can self-report their test scores for admissions purposes as well. And if you have any questions about applying test optional, please feel free to reach out to your admissions counselor. Next. If you are interested in applying to the Honors College, there will be a checkbox on the CFC application that says, are you interested in honors? I tell all students just click the checkbox anyway, but once you submit your CFC application, the supplemental Honors College application will become available to you in the CFC portal, and you can choose whether or not you want to submit that. Again, the priority date for honors is December 1st, and the regular application deadline is February 15th, and the Honors College application requires an additional essay, a resume, and a letter of recommendation. Next slide. Here are the admission statistics for an in-state student accepted into the College of Charleston. The average SAT score ranging from a 1090 to a 1250 for middle 50 percentile of students, and the average ACT score being a 21 to a 28. The College of Charleston does not have a numerical GPA requirement, so just know that when evaluating a high school transcript, we are looking for those strong A's and B's, so an AB average, and that you are challenging yourself with some rigor. The average cost of tuition for an in-state student is about $12,500, and the average cost of room and board is about $12,341. Next. So here are the admissions stats for an out-of-state student accepted into the College of Charleston. Again, the average SAT score ranging from an 1110 to a 1260. The average ACT score being from a 23 to a 29. Again, out-of-state does not have a numerical GPA requirement as well. We're about 60% in-state, 40% out-of-state. And the average cost of tuition ranging from about $33,000 for an out-of-state student, and the average room and board cost being $12,341 as well. Next. Well, that concludes the admissions overview. If you have any additional questions, please feel free to include it in the chat or reach out to your admissions counselor, and we'd be happy to talk to you and answer any questions you have about the admissions process. Thank you.
Thank you, Aisha. That was a lot of great information. Again, if you have any questions like Aisha was saying that weren't covered, or you think it's something, submit it in the chat, or you can always email admissions@cfc.edu, and we'll follow up with you. And don't forget about our virtual full-length information sessions that we offer during the week as well. All right, with that, I'm going to turn it over to Will Chase, Senior Associate Director for Visitor Services. Will's going to be moderating tonight's student panel. Will?
All right, thank you, Devin. Great to be with y'all. As Devin mentioned, my name is Will Chase. I work in the Office of Admission and our Visitor Services with our campus tours and visit events. So I'm glad to be with you all today, and I'm so excited that we're covering some of these topics. I think in your college search process, some of the student support services that we're talking about can be so crucial to your success, your professional and personal development. I know they were for me in college, so I think it's a very, very exciting topic, and I'm excited to bring in some of our awesome students and representatives of the college. So we're going to dive right into our questions and start with our first one that was pre-submitted. It asks, what support service, office, or campus resource have you benefited from the most while at CFC, and how so?
Hey guys, my name is Neha Agnihotri. I'm a senior in the Honors College from Fort Wayne, Indiana. I'm a biology major and a Spanish minor on the pre-med track. And I think one of the support services or campus resources that I've benefited from the most is the Center for Student Learning, or the CSL, as Abe introduced earlier. So I've actually been on both ends of the CSL. I've been a student who has gone in and needed help for a class, but I'm also a tutor for the CSL. So I have a very full circle experience with the CSL. So I remember my first memory of the CSL is I came in freshman year, ready to get all A's in all of my classes, really excited. And I took statistics, which I think is still the hardest class that I've ever taken. I've taken organic chemistry, all these other classes, but statistics really did it for me. And I remember I failed my first test and I got the test back. I couldn't even get out of the room before I started crying. I called my mom and she attended all of these presentations and webinars, and she remembered hearing about the CSL, and she said, just go to your tutoring service and have them help you. So I listened to her advice. I went to the CSL, and they actually paired me with a student who had taken my specific professor. So she had kind of seen these exams before, these types of questions, and so she came up with a kind of a study plan for me and how to attack the next exam. And by the end of the semester, I ended up getting an A in the class, which was crazy that I failed the first test and then I got an A at the end. So it was a huge relief for me and a huge confidence booster, because I remember when I got that first test back, it was really terrifying. It was my first exam in college. It was very daunting. And so having the CSL be that support service for me was very much so a confidence booster, and it really inspired me to then become a tutor for the CSL. So I currently tutor organic chemistry and biology, and it's really nice being on the other side of it because you know that kind of confidence boost that you give students, especially when you have been a student who's gone into the CSL. And I really love how empowering it is for those students who kind of feel powerless or, are confused or lost. A lot of the times, as Abe said, we do get a lot of freshmen that come in. And so we kind of sit down with them and give them helpful study skills, how to approach these exam questions that they've never seen before, because college is a completely different beast from high school. And so having that resource available has been super helpful on both ends. It's probably one of my favorite campus resources, and it's very special to me because I've been so full circle with it. So I really love the CSL.
All right, thanks, Neha. Our next question asks, what advice would you give to prospective student applicants regarding the different support services offered on campus?
Hi, everybody. My name is Faith Ametu. I'm a junior at the college. I'm from Columbia, South Carolina. I'm a biology major and a poli-sci and chemistry minor. And I think the most important thing to consider with this question is that remember you're going from an high school and living at home where you have all of these support systems that are inherently with you, and you already know that you have access to them. And sometimes in the transition to a more independent lifestyle like you have in college, we forget that there are all of these departments and organizations that are literally built to help us in our academic and just emotional growth and journey over college. So I really, my advice would be to just remember when you get here, if you do face any, any, like Neha was talking about, something like failing your first test, or if you have roommate problems, or if you are wondering about financial aid for the next year, any inquiries you have, anything that you're like, oh no, this is gonna, I have to figure this out all by myself. Remember all of these services that are, at your fingertips. And I think with with COVID, we all are so much more aware of how much information is available to us online. And I would ask go to the College of Charleston website, go to these departments' web pages, and look at all of the resources that they provide and see, if any of them remotely interest you, call, shoot an email out to somebody, just talk about whether it would be useful for you to engage with.
All right, Faith, thanks so much for that. Some great advice and tips for our prospective students. Our next question asks, have you ever felt like there is a negative stigma associated with students who take advantage of different support services offered through SNAP, such as the extended test time or text-to-speech options?
Hi, I'm Cookie. I'm a senior here. I'm majoring in political science and minoring in a couple of things. I'm from Columbia, South Carolina, and I'm going to answer this question real quick. So I have never felt like there was a negative stigma associated with SNAP students or students who took advantage of those opportunities. I know quite a few people that are my friends who are who use SNAP services, and they find it really helpful. I've never heard any negative stigma about it at all. I think it's just another opportunity to kind of take advantage of all of the opportunities that the college offers. I think they do a really good job of trying to cater to their students and make sure that every student has every opportunity to succeed. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, Cookie. All right, our next question is, I know most majors will require an internship. Does the Career Center assist students with finding those, or just post-grad job opportunities?
Yeah, so I got this question. My name is Sophie. I'm originally from Atlanta, Georgia, and I'm a senior at the college. I am a public health major and minoring in Spanish. And so the short answer is absolutely. You can definitely go to the Career Center to help you find some internship opportunities as well as post-grad opportunities. So speaking more towards my personal experience with the Career Center, as a wee freshman, I definitely took advantage of this resource. I had so many different ideas of what I wanted to do in a future career. So I played around with everything from international business, political science, even costume design was something I was interested in. I took a class my freshman year, and then also public health. So I had all these different ideas going on and was pretty overwhelmed by it. So I scheduled myself an appointment with the Career Center to kind of just get a little bit more direction on where I wanted to go. And it was extremely helpful. So I, during the appointment, the advisor that I sat down with kind of helped me talk through all of my interests and my passions and how that would align with a potential career, as well as internships. And they looked at the different class opportunities and coursework with me and kind of set that path going from the courses that I would take to different internship opportunities, post-grad opportunities, and then a future career. So really seeing the steps definitely helped me get a better vision for what I wanted to do. And then eventually settled me with an internship that I'm doing currently with the Center for Sustainable Development that I now work with the Career Center as a job. And then also they were able to come to my internship and then do a program with us to talk more about jobs that were directly related to sustainability. So this full circle effect, and they have just been super helpful with all of that information and really helping me get the confidence to pursue a future career with what I'm interested in, which is public health and environmental sciences. So that's it.
All right, thank you, Sophie. And our next question asks, can you share your perspective as a Spectra participant? What were the benefits of taking part in this program? And to the person that's going to talk about this, if you don't mind sharing a little bit about what Spectra is, if folks missed the section on MSPS.
So I'll take this question. Hello, everyone. My name is Vernon Kennedy. I am a senior here at the college from Winsboro, South Carolina, majoring in molecular biology. And I participated in Spectra back in 2017. So for those of you who missed it earlier, Spectra is a college preparatory program. It happens during session 2, which is in July. It's a 4-week program that happens right before the beginning of your freshman year. And what happens is students who apply to this program, they are able to come to campus and live on campus for those 4 weeks, and also participate or take 2 courses through the College of Charleston. And all of this is covered financially. So you're getting 2 free college courses, you're living in a college dorm, you're seeing what the city is like, you're eating in these dining halls, and it's really just a great experience. It's aimed at increasing our Alana student participation, as well as first-generation students here at the College of Charleston. So like I said, I participated in Spectra back in 2017. So there are so many benefits, honestly, that came from the program. I guess the first one I'll talk about is just how I was able to become acclimated with the campus. So of course, the College of Charleston is in a downtown campus, and it can be a little hectic or confusing trying to navigate all the streets, as that wee freshman, like Sophie put it. But me participating in Spectra, I had already spent 4 weeks down here in Charleston, figuring out where all the campus buildings were, all the classrooms, all the different resources and dining halls. So when I actually began my freshman year, I wasn't that freshman who was late to class or confused about, where's SSMB or where is Rita, where are all these places, because I just knew where they were because of Spectra. In addition to that, taking those 2 free courses is a huge plus. Whatever you can get that's free in college, always take advantage of that. Particularly the good thing about 2 free courses is that you get a GPA booster to start you off before your actual year as a freshman starts. So, you know, during the summer while you participate in Spectra, you're only taking those 2 courses, so you don't have a full load like a normal student. So it allows you to have more time to really focus on your studies and actually apply yourself fully. And because of that, it's a little easier to succeed in those courses, and you're able to establish your GPA much earlier. And with that, it can kind of cushion you. Let's say if your first semester actual semester doesn't go too well, well, you know that you can have that peace of mind or rest a little bit because you have that GPA that you established during Spectra that's going to be cushioning you. I'd say one of the other most important things about the Spectra program it's just going to be the sense of community that I was able to form with all of my other Spectra students. So I believe there were about 70 of us who started out in the program, and it was just a nice experience because we were able to be surrounded, I was able to be surrounded by students who looked like me. And for those of you who are unaware, with the College of Charleston being a predominantly white institution, it's kind of hard to find spaces where you fit in that way. It is still a possibility at the college, of course, but the Spectra program made that much more easier to just already come in as a freshman and know students who look like me and kind of just have that sense of community present already. I believe Ms. Rochelle also spoke about the mentorship program that happens with Spectra, so that's been a huge plus for me as well. One of the subset parts of Spectra is called SCAMP, and SCAMP is particularly aimed at students who are interested in the STEM fields, but more so specifically interested in conducting research. So I'm actually a part of the SCAMP program as well. Dr. Agrest, she oversees that program, and through that program, I've been able to have great mentorship with faculty members on campus. I currently work in a research lab where I've been able to do really just amazing things, and it wouldn't have been possible if not for the mentorship that came with the Spectra program or the Spectra SCAMP program. So it's definitely a great program. It comes with a lot of benefits, and if you are interested in getting more information about it, I encourage you to do your research on our website because you won't be missing out.
Awesome. Thank you, Vernon. Some great information and a great resource, great program for students. Just to follow up, if you'd like to learn more about Spectra, just go to msps.cofc.edu and click on the Spectra link. All right, moving on to our next question. It asks, I read on the website that the College of Charleston is a safe zone campus. What kind of support does this provide to the LGBTQ plus students at CFC, and does CFC feel inclusive towards these students?
I can take this one. So hey y'all, my name's Celie. I'm a double major in communications and marketing from Memphis, Tennessee. I'm also involved in the Honors College, Jewish Life, the Business Fraternity, and Martin Scholars here on campus. So speaking directly to this question, I was an RA on campus, and all of the RAs are safe zone trained. So what this means is we're creating a welcoming environment for all of our students so that we're knowledgeable and making sure that we're inclusive for all of our peers. We also have quite a few organizations and departments specifically to support the LGBTQ plus students on campus. Our most popular club for that would be Prism. They actually have a pretty active Instagram if anybody's interested in looking at like pictures of their events. They have a Q&A on there as well. But that's just a little bit about Safe Zone as an RA. I don't know if any other students have been to any Prism events or want to touch on that.
Yeah, I know Prism is pretty active in the events that they put on. So they're having an event this week it's a drag pageant. And then there's also the Trans Student Alliance that just became a club. I know the student government is doing a lot of work to work with gender neutral bathrooms. So it's definitely a supportive community down here.
All right. Thank you, Cookie and Celie. Some great information there. Moving on to the next question. It asks, will a career center still be able to assist you in finding an internship, even if you have a non-traditional major?
I'll take this one also, Will. So yes, the Career Center will be able to help you. As a few people have touched on tonight, a huge resource that most students use is our Handshake app. So there, the Career Center uploads so many different types of internships and just job opportunities in general. Two of my roommates, if you can hear them arguing in the background, two of them actually found their jobs and one of them their internship through Handshake as well. And then besides just using Handshake, I used to go to Career Center all the time as a freshman and sophomore when I wasn't really sure what my resume was supposed to look like. I needed help when I was nervous about going to a potential interview, things like that. And I've been to quite a few career fairs that I've gotten jobs through as well.
All right, thanks again, Sealy, and thanks to Sealy's roommates for chiming in there. Next up, this question asks, is it easy making friends? Do the campus resources and support services at College of Charleston help students balance all the new things, school, work, social life, etc., that come with being a new college student? This is a great question.
So hi everyone, my name is Shira. I'm a junior at the college. I am majoring in psychology with a business admin minor. I'm originally from Marietta, Georgia. I'm just going to answer this question really briefly. It's definitely an adjustment at first, especially being introverted. It took me a little bit of time, but there are so many different resources that you can use to make friends. Student Life hosts a club fair, like an involvement fair, really early on in the semester, where over 240 clubs I think we have, and so there's a lot of different ways for you to get involved really early. I know residents, like RAs, a lot of the times will host events throughout the semester so that you can get to know other students in your dorm. And then if you're ever feeling like you're overwhelmed or don't know how to balance things, there's always the Cougar Counseling Center, which they spoke tonight, and they have the Students for Support, so you can talk to an actual college student and get some advice on that. But there are a lot of ways to get involved really early.
All right, thanks, Shira. And I'd just like to add too, I think one of the awesome things here at CFC is the first year experience course that it almost gets students outside of their comfort zone, but in a comfortable way. So it creates these really intentional opportunities to get connected, find your home base on campus among many of our communities within the broader College of Charleston community. All right, and we're moving on to our last question for our student panel. It asks, are there opportunities for peer-to-peer counseling?
Hello everyone, my name is Jayla and I'm from Miami, Florida. I am a sophomore here at the college, majoring in communication and minoring in environmental and sustainability studies. And as mentioned earlier, on campus, we do have a peer-led group called Students for Support. And it's a really awesome group for students who kind of are struggling with things like roommate issues, stress, and time management, but they also deal with more serious issues as well. For many students, it is their first time away from home, so they can use Students for Support as a place to go if they need someone to talk to with things like anxiety or homesickness. So Students for Support and Cougar in the Counseling Center are really good resources for students to use. Students for Support is a student-led organization, like I said, so it's a lot easier for other students to go in and talk to them if they do need someone to talk to, because it's easier to talk to someone who's closer in age, you have a little bit more to relate to, and you feel more comfortable with them. Everything that you say in your appointment is confidential as well, so you don't have to worry about anyone spreading your business or anything like that. And the services are also free, so it's really good to take advantage of. They're available Monday through Friday from 12 to 9 p.m. And if you're kind of shy and you don't want to go in person, you can text in as well and still get the same amount of help and as much support as you need. And if you decide that you do want to be a counselor in Students for Support, you can do that as well. You just have to go through the application process and you can potentially be a peer counselor. Students for Support and the Counseling Center are really great. I've used them a couple times myself. So if you are struggling when you come to the College of Charleston, just feeling comfortable making CFC your home, you can just reach out to them and they can really help you out.
All right, that's awesome, Jayla. Thank you so much. And thank you to all of our student panelists today. I know you have very busy schedules, so thanks for carving the time out today to share your experiences and your insights into your time here at CFC. We are grateful for your time. So I'll turn it back over to Devin now to conclude our event.
Thank you, Will, and thank you again to our students. You all are the wonderful reason why we all are here and doing this job. And I know that our guests on the line are certainly happy to imagine themselves in your shoes. So thanks again for offering your perspective. And I just want to thank all of our guests, students, and families. Thank you for joining us tonight. We know, just like Will was telling the students, we know you are busy, you are probably Zoomed and virtualed out, but we are so thankful that you took the time to join us and are interested in pursuing your college experience at the College of Charleston. If you have any questions, again, you can email admissions@cfc.edu or admissionsevents@cfc.edu, and we will get back in touch with you as quickly as possible and answer those questions. And do remember to check out our virtual visitor center online. That can be found off the admissions homepage. Here you're going to find a lot of opportunities to learn more about the college, whether that's connecting with your counselor one-on-one for a virtual sit-down or tuning in for a special topic information session. That's really going to be your hub to learn more about opportunities we're offering to you virtually and potentially some down in person down the road. But again, thank you all for joining us. We hope to see you soon. Have a good evening. Good night.